Hello guys, welcome back to MonLabo Linux. This is another video on Terraform. This will be video number 4 of a series. So from the previous video, we saw how to write a Terraform configuration uh, code. Terraform code from only a single file. But this is not a really good practice. As you saw that here, we got started with this, but this is not a good practice. Okay, so today we are going to see how we go by separation of concern by putting every single stuff where they belong to. Okay, so for that I have part 2 here, and on part 2 I have these files created under separation. And I have, for example, locals. I have manage file.tf. I have output.tf. I have uh, provider.tf. I have variables.tf and versions.tf. I could have called this main.tf, but I just want to call it as of what we want to do. So usually you want to name files after what you are trying to achieve here, and you can see that we are doing just that. I know you will be like, okay, locals, what is that? But don't worry. I know I didn't talk about that even from the first video that I did. I never talked about it, so I'm going to clear it today. So when you do this, for example, we are going to copy this first part, for example. So we're going to copy that, and here on the so this is where we define the Terraform version, the local required providers with their version. So it makes sense to put that under version, right? And then if we go back here, or if we can just put it like this and then close this one here so that we have it here. Okay, and I'm gonna reduce this one so that we have more visibility onto this. So now for the providers, I'm gonna uh, copy this. Okay, so let's copy that and then put that into providers. And now for, let's see the other ones. All right, uh, the other ones, what do we want to put there? Yeah, variables. So for variables, it makes sense to put that into variables.tf. So we're gonna do just that and put that here. Nice. We are progressing. Now, when we come here, we have resources. Okay, so resources, it makes sense to create resources under another file. So we're gonna have it put under manage file.tf, and oops, yeah. And then for the output, we're gonna put this right here under output. Okay, it will be like we are left with locals. What do you intend to do with locals? So for locals, we're gonna do something interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to take one of the thing here that was on this side, and we're gonna put that to locals. For example, I want to take, so this one we are done with it. So now this one here, I want to take this text, cut that, okay, or just copy. So I will just copy for now and then we replace it later on. So I want to come here and use something called locals, okay. So locals block allows you to create local how you call that, yeah, local variables. Okay, so it's a way to create more uh, dynamic variables compared to the variables that is here, to the variables that you have here. You can do a lot of stuff. For example, you can have um, some, I mean, you can extend the capability of this thing. You can use ternary operators, for example, something that it might be difficult to do that within uh, the variable. So here we're gonna just accept what is here. Okay, we're gonna accept what is here, and we're gonna add the text as well. So for the text, uh, sorry. So we're gonna say output, output the path. Okay, and this will be this. Okay, I like it this way. Copilot is doing on my side. But I like to code my stuff. So I just have to make sure that this is archive file path because sometimes it creates stuff that are not really related to what you intend to do. So you see archive path. So I'm gonna change that. So that's why you have to make sure that it is what you really want. Okay, so now I have this, and so as you can see here now, it is taking its stuff from a specific location. So for example, the archive file name. Oh, sorry, no, here is okay. Yeah, here is okay. So here, for example, because here you want to create variables with names that you want, for example, or whatever you want. Now here we're gonna call that something. So this is archive file name. Okay, this is the archive file name. The archive file name from the variable we are taking something like this, and this is something beautiful with local. You can also put variables there, so we can do var dot archive name. Okay, so which will look just like what you have here, archive name. So it's going to be this. And then for source directory, for the source directory, um, oops, it's, yeah, for the source directory. So when we're having source file, no. Okay, we're going to call that source file instead of source directory. Source file, okay, source file, source file underscore name. Yeah, so let's call it like that. And here, source file underscore name is because I'm dealing with this one, for example. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that it is taking that from, okay, I think it has also changed it here. Local file getting started. Uh, anyway, no, it's the same. So I'm not going to take that from here. Okay. Uh, hold on. Source file. Mm, I think we can leave that, but I can call this resource right here and then call this one inside here. Call that, but it will, I want to make this video really simple. So for the source file, we're just gonna leave it from there because it obtains that from the content here. So we can instead put file, content file name. Okay, content file file name. Okay, yeah. So we can call that um, local file name, for example. Local file name. Okay, so that local file name we can replace this. which is here inside here. Do not worry, we are going to connect all the dots together. So now that's the local file name and the output. So for the output here, the output was taking something like this with local file underscore file name. So he has done that on his own. So it's basically like, because here we are having output, right? So this was the output path, I mean, and then from that output path, so we can put something like this, archive underscore output path, okay, so that we know that the we are dealing with the archive provider at this point. So archive output path has given that. Okay, so archive output file name has given this, okay, which is the module reference, the module itself, you see this, and then uh, we are going to have local, so we can call local block within its local block as well. So local resources within the local block. So we have local, okay, that's how we access stuff from local block. So we have local dot archive file name, which is this one, and which will be resolved to what? To this one right here, to the sorry, to what is inside the variable right here, okay, right here, because this is the archive name, which is var archive name. So it will be a resolve to that. And then we have a problem here where it is kind of worry. Like, okay, you want me to get the output of the archive file, but where is it? This, I don't know this. Okay, so it says no declaration found for this. So here, because we added archive on it, we have to change it and we put that here. So now when we put that here, we are good with this file. And we just have to now plug these locals into each and every places where we want it to be. But then if I go to manage file, okay, and here, what did we use? Archive file name, okay. So here it means that archive file name, it's this one, okay. So it was this one. So instead of and taking that from the resource, okay, we are going to get that from, mm, yeah, so we're going to get that from local, okay. What are we doing here? Okay, this is the archive file name, all right. Uh, this is archive path to it, okay, nice. So we don't really need, unless we wanted to do file name. Okay, let's call that local file name. Okay, so that this one will be plugged into this one. So here for the local file name, we're gonna do, we can take this and put that here, and then here, oops, it looks like we have local file name twice. Okay, let's get back and see what is going on. So here, oh yes, so the thing is, so here, okay, so we have the archive file name. Okay, this is something when it becomes a bit different, so you need to accommodate with it. So we have this archive file name, okay, which is the hello.tar.gz. Now .gz. So now we have that file and we want to achieve exactly what was here. Okay. So we take this first, we put the module path. So if you look here, we have module. Okay, we have path.module as well here. And then here we have this, okay, which is different. So now we're gonna change this whole thing here to be this. Okay, so to access it, we type local dot, and you see that Terraform already knows that there are some local stuff that we want to have access to, and this is archive output path. Okay, that one is solved. Now for the local file name, so we are acting here with local, so it's better to put this one up so that we know that this is for local and the other one is for archive. Everything below that is archive. Okay, so now the archive file path, this is the output. Okay, this is for output. Now we're gonna go to the output. We're gonna copy this. So the output that we were having here, we can replace that by local. Okay, we already is trying to guess, but local dot, and then we're going to call that output output archive. Where is that? Sorry, is that output file path? Okay, so output archive output. Okay, you can just delete and you type dot again. So it's going to be what is that? Okay, archive file path. Sorry, archive file path. So archive file path. All right. Now you can decide if that is sensitive or not as well. So if it's sensitive, you put true. It means that you will not show that output. If it's not sensitive, you can just put false. If it's not, you put false, and then it will resolve to show the output. So now that we are done, it's time to see if our bowl of spaghetti did not turn into something. So if you want, we can also change this one. Okay, here, for example, for this one, we can also change that because I see it is there. So we can just do it like this. What the hell is that? I copy only one thing. No, this here because it's the same thing, right? Oops, we forgot local dot. Oops, no dot here. Okay, so now it's time to see if our Terraform code has not turned into spaghetti bowl. Okay, so let's just verify that one more time before we start executing. Do we have the version? Yes, we have. Do we have variables that maybe are in use? Uh, file content. Yes, we have. We have the providers. Yes. We have the output. Yeah, we have output. And the output, you can type control key and hover your mouse over it like this. And you will see that it's going to local, which is dynamic. That's why I say that they are dynamic value. So, which is dynamic because it has something that it calls again. You cannot do that with variables. Okay. And now, if we go to manage files, so output path, you type control key, and then you see that output path is sorry, output path is connected to this local variable called local.archive output path, which is calling the path.module, and it's going through this where we have local.archive file name. Now here, this one is the resource itself. Okay, this one is the resource itself, which is right here. Okay, and that resource on its side is calling this one. Okay, as the file name. And then we have the file content that is coming from the variable. So this file name is coming from where you can click on it so that it takes you to, looks like it doesn't do that anymore. But you can click here and then you will see that it takes you into this. So it means that to our, as per our like, we have everything that we need. It's now time to go ahead and what do you think about this? Should we try? So let's go into the other path, to the other part, which is part 2. Okay, and then do ls. We have everything there. So let's try to see if we need any Terraform, Terraform FMT. Usually you don't need to type in it before doing FMT. So you can just type FMT immediately to repair everything. I mean to syntax, to put all the syntax normally. And now we can do Terraform init first, because if you don't do that, it's going to complain. So as of now, you don't see any .terraform folder here. So you're going to type enter, and it's going to go ahead, create this directory. Okay, so it has created this directory, call all the providers that we need to work with, and then it has created a log file for the providers as well. And then now, usually it may happen that you do init and it fails. Okay, it fails. It might be probably because your configuration is not good at some point. So you might have to check on it and see what to do. But up to here, don't be so happy because you still need to do Terraform. And if you're wondering where I'm getting all this is from here. This is FMT, for example. This is what is the other one? Yeah, so init, validate, plan, apply, destroy. So we're gonna do validate right now. Check whether the configuration is valid. So you're gonna do Terraform validate. Nice. Okay, configuration is successful. It means that we connected everything as intended. Now we will do Terraform plan. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. We don't need them to be open anymore. So let's enlarge this. So Terraform plan, and it goes ahead and do the Terraform plan, okay, for us. And you can see that we have all this created for us, okay. And now here we have two to add, zero to change, zero to destroy, and archive path. We archive path file name. Probably that's what we had to say. But it's okay. It's taking hello tar.gz, which is calling that from the variable, and the variable is calling that from here, okay, from the local, and that variable is called from the local, and finally this is called from where in the output. So that's how it resolves it. Now we are here, or let's just verify something else again. So here we see that this is the output. Oh, oh yeah, that's the archive. And here is the file name that we are going to create. This is the content that we go inside. Okay. And here we're gonna have the source file that was created from here. Okay. And finally, we're gonna have this as you see here. Actually, Terraform is doing dependency resolution on its own and is able to know the relationship between resources, what needs to be created first. But it happens sometimes you have to tell Terraform exactly which resources it has to wait for. It has to wait for to be created before it can create some other subsequent resources. So now we are going to go ahead and do Terraform apply dash auto dash approve. And then we're going to hit enter. So when we hit enter, you see that we have this hello.tar.gz. Okay, .gz. I mean, and then we have this that was created. Okay, and the state file is right here too. Isn't it beautiful? And here you can see, for example, when I told you that a result dependency on its own, you see that the archive has dependency. So you see archive, okay? Archive name has dependency over what? The local resource, which is this one, okay? Which is this resource. So the local resource dot getting started that was here. So it means that this guy automatically knows that because of the references that we put there, he automatically knows that he has reference dependencies over this guy. All right. So now let's just try to see if the content is there. Yep, we have hello, subscribe, like, comment, and share MonLabo Linux. And then we are going to delete that and see if we can recover that file. Let's delete. So we have that file that has disappeared. And now we have the tar.gz file. Now I'm gonna do tar x yeah x vf, okay, and then I'm gonna put that hello file there. Okay, so if I type this, we see that we have an output that came like this, and it means that we have our file back again. So this means we were able to do that. And if you were like, oh, so it means that we are not done with Linux. Yeah, you are not done with Linux. If you don't know Linux, I recommend you to go and find that into my channel how I manage Linux stuff. Okay, how I deal with Linux. So yes, so you see how we were able to record our file and see the content exactly as we wanted. So it means that we were able to separate to have a separation of concern for our Terraform resources and have all those resources going from this, okay, in one file into a very nice uh, separation of all those resources and a bit more logical, okay, where we use, for example, local. We also introduce local to see how we can uh, plug in different stuff together and make them more suitable because someone might want to use this as a module and yeah. So now let's just remove all this. So if we do terraform destroy, okay, you also do dash auto dash approve, and then you hit enter, and then he went ahead and destroyed all the resources. And when he destroyed the resources, he created a terraform tf_state.backup here, which is another file we did not talk about. It will be the content of the terraform or the terraform.tf that was here because now this guy is empty. Okay, so he has created this as a backup so that if you want to uh, work on it again, for example, you can go ahead and do that. For example, if you were to do, oops, uh, Terraform plan, it will create that. Okay, it will create that. But now it has this file that it has all the information into and might take those from there to create all your resources. All right. So after that, this is not recommended, especially for the state file, okay, because the state file has to stay into your S3 bucket or Terraform Cloud or any other cloud provider that you have out there. But if you have it locally and you are just doing testing, you can delete. I will select those different files that I need to delete. This one and this one, and also this one, because I can recreate it anytime I want. And then I'm gonna do this. Uh, yep. So that's all. If you like what you see, please consider being a hero for this YouTube channel. We want to grow as a community. We already have 213 subscribers. This is mwah. Now we are going to go ahead and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So consider doing this. Bye bye. And share.